Hello and welcome to what will be the Yard Red Festival as soon as everybody loads into the game. Here we're going to have a best of three between Virtus.pro Polar and Kompas Gaming. It is going to be a best of three, and we are currently in the beginning of the bracket. So nobody's going to be eliminated or anything. It is double elimination inside the tournament. As for your casters, I'm Grandis V, and I'm going to be joined by Mike Loris.
I haven't had the pleasure of live casting VP Polar just yet. Compass Gaming, I've casted them quite a few times, but yeah, always nice to see a new team that I haven't actually sat in this position before and casted them. So excited to be doing that right now.
Yeah, of course. It is, of course, Gobblex team right now. And he has some pretty good names on it as well on top of it. This matchup, I would say, is slightly favored towards Virtus.pro Polar as far as their recent performances in other tournaments. But I haven't seen them either in a live game, so this is going to be a new experience for me as well.
And also, guys, this is because this is the Yard Red Festival. All of the proceeds will be going to the Red Cross, so it's going to be very helpful if you go ahead and buy a ticket and help charity because that's a good thing to do just as a human being.
Yes, it is. Currently waiting for Kompas Gaming to go ahead and pick their first ban, eating through the reserve time a little bit to start things off. Not exactly sure why. Usually these first bans are fairly straightforward, but they're taking their time.
So yeah, making sure that everyone's just still connected. I'm just going to assume that we're going to be seeing the standard bans out first. Maybe Compass Gaming are a little bit more inclined to ban out Terrorblade because Illidan's Storm Rage is on the other side, and that would make sense in the world of Dota, but it is going to be a Terrorblade ban out regardless, and, just generally strong heroes. Can't really go wrong with that ever.
Yeah, for sure. If you do give Terrorblade a little bit of room, very easy for him to push those towers, and a fairly scary hero to deal with, if left unchecked. And a lot of teams aren't very comfortable playing with him, and I'm not sure if he deserves the first ban slot entirely. But then again, he's still a strong hero, and we'll be seeing him run for quite some time.
Do a quick check on your overlay. Is that? Oh, no, never mind. Okay, we're good. Never mind. Okay, yeah, Terrorblade as well as Death Prophet. These two teams certainly going to be taking their time in order to decide this as to what exactly they want to go for. Because it is a best of three and because it is double elimination, it's easier to see a team going to try something a little bit new, especially since the patch is still a little bit fresh. And we actually see a Medusa banned out. Now, I actually see a Medusa being picked up a lot earlier than I would really expect. Do you think this is a worthy ban? Do you think it's even debatably worthy?
I think it's debatably worthy, but I don't think it is. To be honest, I think picking up a Medusa this early on is incredibly risky, and the hero just doesn't fit into that first pick slot. It's a hero that doesn't offer much in the early portions of the game. Yes, you can play fairly aggressively, go like the race car build, maybe get an early Maelstrom, but I don't know. I really don't like seeing Medusa get this much praise inside the pick and banning stage. I'm not sure that's really where the hero fits. Right now, she is seeing a lot more play than she has as of late, which is not hard at the very least. Like, we barely saw Medusa in the previous patches, and right now she's kind of the hero of the month.
Yeah, I think you could definitely fit her into lineups, but you don't really want to build lineups around her. It's pretty much forcing you into a very defensive 4 protect 1 kind of strategy, and you would really rather have the 4 heroes first. Have your cores, have your brewmasters, your centaurs, and then when you're like, oh, well, the other team has a pretty good late game, who should we pick up in order to counter that? Medusa is probably going to be a more appealing pick then, but not before then, just because she is so easily punished. That being said, it's not going to be entirely relevant this game because she is just banned out right now, and Brewmaster is going to slip through, and he's going to be the first pick. I think Brewmaster is more first ban worthy than Medusa.
Yeah, I think that's fair, but Virtus.pro go ahead and snag up a very early Magnus for themselves. Following up with Skywrath Mage, not as interesting a hero. I don't know, Magnus in the right hands can be a very threatening hero, but then again, if the RPs and the skewers aren't completely on point, other heroes could fit his shoes a lot better, presumably going towards the mid lane for Virtus.pro.
Yeah, that has to be the built-in assumption until you see anything else that would indicate otherwise. If VP pick up something like a Batrider, then it could make the lanes a little bit more awkward, and I've seen them play Batrider a couple of times, so wouldn't put it past them to pick up something like that. Also, it's just a generally good hero, so no reason not to go down that route either. But Mag Skywrath Mage It's not exactly a combo that we see all that often being picked up in the first two. Scarith Mage first pick, or in the first pick phase, is something that you see quite often, but Magnus not so much because he is easily dealt with, or he does have his counters, and he's just usually not as powerful in the mid game as in the mid lane as some other heroes, i.e. Brewmaster. Usually you could pick him up a lot later, but I don't even know if he's a hero that you could build around that much. Maybe you're gonna be more inclined to pick up melee heroes so that you get in power cleave value, but that's about it.
Yeah, I think that's really why you pick Magnus, to be honest. Like, Empower's the only thing that he brings to the table that's truly unique. Heroes like Ember Spirit and the likes really benefit from that extra cleave damage, but honestly, I think you pick up Magnus a little bit later. The Scarith Mage, I'm not sure if it's picked more to combo with the Magnus than it is to counter the Brewmaster just with a really solid single-target silence. Next hero for Kompas Gaming is going to be the Earthshaker. It's going to be a solid hero to follow up that Brewmaster, and the PA ban, under normal circumstances, looks pretty awkward, but when you already have a Magnus on the field, a PA is a pretty scary hero.
Yeah, we've seen PA paired with Magnus. We've seen a long time ago Lifestealer paired with Magnus. If you put the Empower on the Lifestealer, which I believe you could do now through Rage, which is going to be pretty sweet, and you have a nice Lifestealer bomb. So it would seem like it would be a pretty nice thing to do if Compass Gaming just banned out all those scary melee carries, because with the Magnus on the field, that's really what you have to be afraid of. Also, the Medusa, in this sense, kind of makes sense, as Empowered Medusa is also really terrifying. You don't get the cleave, but the extra damage per arrow, per split shot, is pretty devastating. Kind of the same reason why we see a Gyro now being banned out. Over on VP, we have Razor as well as Naga Siren, mostly just to protect this Magnus in the middle lane, especially that Razor ban.
Yeah, I think so as well. There's not a great reason to end those out otherwise. Let's see. I think Virtus Pro are going to be going for that melee carry. What it's going to be is still yet to be seen. Lifestealer or Ember Spirit are the first two that come to mind for me. Lifestealer in this game would work pretty well, especially since you're dealing with a Brewmaster whose ultimate is more or less completely negated when you're magic immune, as it doesn't really bother the Lifestealer all that much, especially when you're cleaving through the minions with Empower. So that would be a pretty solid choice for them, but we'll see what Virtus Pro Polar have in mind.
Right, they have quite a few options right now. Again, it's more appealing for them to pick up melee heroes because they do have the cleave from the Magnus. Also, dealing with Brewmaster Earthshaker, it's okay if you go for a couple melee heroes because the other side isn't going to be constantly outranging you. That being said, you don't really want to overload on melee heroes against an Earthshaker Brewmaster. Then you get hit with multiple people with the Drunken Haze, and you have to deal with Echo Slams that are a lot more deadly. So they have to play this very delicate game where they want to pick up melee, but at the same time, they don't really want to pick up melee. And it's melee, I guess.
I suppose so. Spirit Breaker is another one of those heroes that was at the bottom of the barrel for the longest time. I don't know why they're picking it up third, to be honest. There is very little chance that Compass Gaming would ban pick or even think about picking a Spirit Breaker. This might get into Compass Gaming's head because, I don't know, it's getting into mine. Spirit Breaker is a very interesting hero. He changes the way the game's played, but then again, you really have to snowball your way to victory with this hero because he doesn't do very much at most portions of the game. His ultimate was hit pretty hard by the nerfs. He was changed a little bit around inside the last patch, mostly due to the charge cooldown as well as his aura getting an active ability and kind of changing how that works a little bit. Next pickup for Kompas Gaming, a lot more standard, the Rubik giving them an instant stun up against a charging Spirit Breaker could be very useful, as well as stealing the spells that are on the side of Virtus Pro Polar. There's quite a large repertoire for them. Rubik definitely a solid pick. What are your thoughts on the Spirit Breaker though?
Well, I was just about to ask whether it was going to be played as a carry or a support, but we have seen teams in the past experiment with the 4-position Spirit Breaker, and then you just basically use him as an early game initiator. I feel like there are better heroes to do that, but with an Anti-Mage now picked up, VP, they're stacking up on melee heroes to be sure. And the Spirit Breaker is going to let them be a little bit aggressive in the early stages. Spirit Breaker, Scarith Mage, I can't say I've ever casted that combination before because the first time in a very long time I've seen Spirit Breaker. But it doesn't seem too terrible. You land a nice stun with a charge, and then you have Scarith Mage dump a whole bunch of damage, especially if Magnus is there to help out. That being said, Compass Gaming, they have great tools against Spirit Breaker. Brewmaster and Batrider just being able to, use their natural survivability to get out of there most times. Earthshaker is the most vulnerable. Rubik, as you said, with the instant stun, is going to be super useful against the Spirit Breaker. But yeah, I don't know if this hero is going to get that much traction in this game. He has a lot of disables to deal with.
Yeah, he really does. I'm not sure if this is going to be a position for Spirit Breaker. I'm kind of assuming he'll be in the off lane. We'll see. I just haven't seen Spirit Breaker enough to really make an educated guess as to where they're actually going to lane this, and that's probably going to work in their favor. Kompas Gaming taking quite a bit of time to figure out what this last ban is going to be, and honestly, I have no idea what Virtus.pro are going to pick up.
Yeah, I mean, with Spirit Breaker and Anti-Mage both, I mean, I know VP, they do like their Anti-Mage, so, I mean, it's a little bit of personal preference right there, but I feel like if they don't pick up a range hero, then their lanes are just going to suffer too much. As aggressive as you can be with the Spirit Breaker, you need some sort of constant lane presence in order to secure some farm for your heroes. Anti-Mage is going to be completely crushed if he ends up 1v1 versus a Bat Rider, or at the very least, he's not going to get that much farm, which is exactly what you want to get from your Anti-Mage, so it depends on their last pick. If they want to pick up a range support or just go for another core in the puck. It is another range hero. It's a hero that will do very well against what Kompas Gaming have going for them. But this is going to push the Spirit Breaker into a support role. And this is very similar to support Tusks, which we see a little bit more than Spirit Breaker. You have to be very aggressive in the early stages. Otherwise, you're going to fall off and do pretty much nothing.
Yeah, definitely. The lanes aren't exactly clear for Virtus.pro. Puck could be taking up the mid lane where Magnus goes in the off lane, but as it stands, I'd assume Magnus is taking up the mid with Puck in the off lane. But those could be more or less interchangeable. Kompas Gaming, pick up a Spectre as their last hero.
All right, so this is a situation where if you're a Kompas and you had a Medusa available, you would be more inclined to pick it up, but Spectre is going to be perfectly serviceable. Again, she's more on the tanky end, especially if you builds as such, and she doesn't actually have to worry about the anti-mage that much as far as, heroes that have mana. So Spectre's going to be more than fine with dueling with the anti-mage. She has a couple points in Desolate, and then hopefully she'll be able to survive, but VP, they have a pretty aggressive lineup. At least they have an aggressive that should be played very aggressively. And that means the Spectre is going to be in for a little bit of a rough time. That being said, Bat Rider, Brewmaster, those two heroes are more than capable of holding down the fort. So it's going to be really tough for VP to get through this Bat and Brew. If they shut down these two heroes early, by early rotations, very aggressive play, whatever, then they're going to be feeling pretty good about their game.
Yeah, for sure. It's kind of a similar story for Virtus.pro. You have 4 heroes on their side that are going to be protecting this anti-mage at the early portions. And once they get the early items up on Illidan, then they're going to start fighting. So, I don't know. Both teams kind of have a similar story. I'm liking Kompas Gaming's lineup a little bit more, mostly because it's more conventional. I feel it's more solid all around. But that said, I'm hoping that Virtus.pro Polar come out with some crazy Spirit Breaker play coming out from Goldblack. Virtus.pro Polar is going to be playing on the Radiant side with the aforementioned Spirit Breaker played by Goldblack. Illidan playing on his Anti-Mage. Scandal going to be taking up the Magnus. Skywrath Mage is going to be played by Lil, and DK Phobos playing on the Puck.
And on Kompas Gaming, we got PSM playing the Rubik Affininge on the Brewmaster. Goddamn's going to be playing the Earthshaker. RD's on the Spectre with the spikiest of spiky sets. That leaves the last person. It's going to be Goddamn, we just loaded on the Earthshaker. So everyone's in the game. Hopefully we get this going soon. This Spectre set, though, I think she has enough spikes on her. I don't really think that fits her hero.
It probably doesn't. I don't know. I think they're supposed to be feathers. It's like bird Spectre set. She looks like a peacock.
Really? She looks more like Kerrigan.
Very well. Suffice it to say, it's quite a set.
Stylistic choices. I don't know. I'm not a workshop person, so I can't say if that's a good set for Spectre, but I didn't think Spectre would be that spiky.
Yeah, I don't know, it's hard to make a Spectre set, though, because if you stick with the current theme, they all kind of look the same, because she's kind of like a miasmatic, floaty, purple thing.
Yeah, like Wisp. If you're going to be building a set for Wisp, it's hard to break the borders and create something truly huge without the Dota community getting upset and demanding your head on a pike.
Yeah, more or less. It's a lot easier than Wisp, I would say, but similar story.
All right, so final pick of the puck is going to give VP a little bit more ability to initiate these fights outside of a Blinking Mag, outside of a random Spirit Breaker charge. The matchup should be puck going towards the mid lane, I would expect, and they up against the Brewmaster or the Bat Rider, really, no matter which one, should be having a relatively decent time. Puck isn't actually here that can contribute that much to Spirit Breaker ganks, aside from just throwing out his spells, or its spells.
Yeah, the Illusory damage is kind of nice. You can chase people pretty effectively with it, but other than that, there's no lockdown spells. The nukes are okay, but they're not that great.
All right, so we're actually having some difficulty for some people loading into this stream, which is kind of unfortunate Spirit Breaker. But for everyone who is here, thanks for tuning in again. Yard Red Festival is game 1 in a best of 3. And for some reason, as always, we're paused right from the get-go. So exciting.
Yeah.
We get to see these fancy items on everyone.
Yep. I think we're waiting for the teams, although it would be wonderful if we could get the stream issues fixed.
I mean, it's not stream issues, it's website issues.
Yeah, it's
the stream is fine.
The stream is going up at 30 FPS, no frames dropped, we're all good. But yeah, it's very unfortunate. This isn't the streaming service we usually use, and on a normal day this would be on Twitch and it wouldn't be as big of an issue. But right now the infrastructure just isn't all that great for ESFX.
Well, hopefully it'll improve, because this is certainly a game that I would not want to be missing, just with the picks alone.
Of course.
Who knows? It might be one of like the crappiest games of all time. Kompas Gaming might just roll over the Spirit Breaker pick and end the game in 10 minutes, but still, it's worth seeing just how this hero exactly works. It used to be played, as I said, a couple times. I think I've seen old Liquid play with it, like TI3-ish area Liquid before then. But yeah, I don't know. Spirit Breaker is really tanky. You can see he has 700 HP. He's got a good amount of base damage, 5 armor, all from level 1 and no items. But he doesn't really contribute all that much aside from just being a tanky body. You compare that to an Ogre Magi, who is similarly tanky, and the Spirit Breaker is kind of underwhelming.
Yeah. I would also love to see an Ogre Magi, despite not being as unconventional, still a lot of fun to watch. But this is Gold Black, so maybe he's gonna pull something completely out of the hat that I hadn't considered, so I don't know. I'm hoping to be surprised.
Yeah, you can never underestimate the mind of Gold Black. Has pioneered so many strategies, was a big advocate of Tree and Protector before everyone was really on board with that hero, and I've seen his Undying played more so than any other team. You know, this is, of course, back in the day when teams were still going with the very tried and true, oh, we're just going to pick up an anti-mage and we're going to win the game. But yeah, I don't know if this is a brilliant solution to what Kompas Gaming have, or if it's just VP kind of just messing around and they just want to pick up a Spirit Breaker, but it seems like it is just part of Gold Black's mind just going to town right here, and we'll see if this one is going to be a good pick or a terrible pick, because keep in mind, he did pick it up 3rd, so he clearly prioritized this hero very highly in this particular draft.
Yeah. I don't know, it could have just been a day where Gold Black's like, I want to play Spirit Breaker, and then he picks it, so I don't know. Could also be part of it. They also very quickly picked up the Anti-Mage. It seems that these were the first 4 heroes that they wanted. Like, their draft went by very quickly.
Yeah, VP got exactly what they wanted, and it's kind of weird to say with the heroes that they have right now. I mean, Anti-Mage, I don't think we talked about him that much. He's going to be very survivable in this game, though the long-range initiation from Kompas with the Blinking Bat and Fissure, maybe even a Blinking Rubik later on, Illidan's going to need a lot of farm and a lot of survivability if he really wants to do well this game. And as far as heroes that need to use their mana pool, if you could burn out Brewmaster, that's great. Earthshaker, that's great as well. But if you burn out the Spectre, not really too relevant. And same thing for the Batrider. It'll be unlikely that he burns him out. So this Anti-Mage pick, although it's refreshing to see, I don't think this is actually the best hero. It does go well with Mag, but I just think something like a Lifestealer might have been a little bit better. Maybe I'm just in love with Lifestealer a little bit too much, though.
I mean, if you're going to pick up a Spirit Breaker, I like Lifestealer quite a bit more. You have lots of different Lifestealer bombs, Magnus Puck, as well as the Spirit Breaker. I don't know. I don't think it's just being a Lifestealer fan. I think it would probably be a pretty good pick. But Anti-Mage is their choice. It is going to be quite a large rotation coming up from Kompas. To start us off, all 5 men smoked. I don't think they're going to find anybody, but if they get First Blood on the Anti-Mage, or any of the supports, it could be pretty huge. But they're not going to find anybody. They're sitting on the Rune currently.
This is about as aggressive as a smoke start that you could possibly get, wrapping around into the lane. They're going to run into Illidan, but he has Blink, so may not want to skill that up at level 1, but it looks like he doesn't even have to, as he's going to spot out the fact that Kompas Gaming are in the area. After all of that, unfortunately, Kompas, that's the kind of smoke movement when you go dip into the lane that indicates that they really, really want First Blood. With a Fissure, with the Telekinesis, with the slows that they have, getting a First Blood would have been huge. Unfortunately, it's just not to be. VP were actually a lot more far up north than teams usually are at this stage in the game.
Yep. Gorik gets the early bounty rune. The illusion rune spawning top isn't going to be the most important, although it might block some camps here, and it looks like that's what Skywrath Mage is going to do. At the very least, get some scouting done.
All right, so taking a look at our mid lane matchup real quick, it's going to be the Brewmaster versus the Mag. It's actually quite a common matchup, or it used to be quite a common matchup, and it's relatively even as both heroes do rely on similar mechanics in order to keep their lane in control. They have similar amounts of HP, pretty much identical right-click damage and armor and everything like that, so no huge base advantage going towards either hero. It's just going to be mostly skill and skill alone that determines who's going to win this lane.
Yeah, more or less. Currently, Scandal getting the lesser half of the block stick as Ninja getting a pretty good first wave. Yeah, it is more or less going to be the same. They're going to be rushing towards their bottle, and then once they get their bottle, it's just bottle spam. Get those extra refills from the guaranteed runes. Currently, Puck's not going to have a great time up against this top lane. I don't think he's going to die, especially with the Earthshaker stacking some camps, or at least dealing with the Skywrath Mage illusion. Even if he was there, you can always Illusory Orb over those fissures. Spiritbreaker and Skywrath Mage have yet to make a move, currently pulling on their side of the map as well, leaving Gorak in lane to get level 2 up against the Anti-Mage. Anti-Mage currently under tower is probably going to see us this entire wave, although he'll tank a little bit of damage. It's not going to really bother him that much. The Puck is trading hits with PSM currently. I don't expect him to be our first blood, though.
Yeah, Puck just has so many survivability tools early on that you're going to have to chain stun him perfectly and have enough damage. And the chain stun is possible, I think. The Rubik lift up into the fissure from the Earthshaker is some pretty great stunning, but Spectre doesn't actually contribute gyrocopter amounts of damage, which is really what you need in order to kill off a Puck this early. I expect the Spiritbreaker is going to be playing kind of like a Sand King, actually. Like, he's just going to be jungling up until he hits a couple of levels, and then at that point, it's going to be the trigger where he just goes off. And then, you know, he is 1 point Greater Bash, 1 point Charge. This actually might be that point. He's just going to look for an angle, maybe secure the runes, but I think now we're going to have to worry about Spiritbreakers running everywhere and causing havoc, because Gorak is going to be running straight into this cow, and this is not where a Batrider wants to be, although the Firefly is pretty much the best tool you could possibly ask for against a Breaker. He's going to get charged regardless. Goblak just wants this rune, and he's going to get a little bit of mana regen off of that one. Still Gorak taking quite a bit of damage, but unfortunately Skywrath Mage, only level 1, doesn't really have that much to contribute to this. Unless Goblak gets a really lucky Greater Bash, I don't think he get this kill. He doesn't have the charge, but he's going to hold on to it, as goddamn, he's a lot more vulnerable. He's going to just throw a fissure, and now both Lil and Goblak a little bit trapped. They're going to turn around and try to go for the Batrider once again, who has been regenerating just a little bit. Charge is there, gave him the vision, and it's going to be a lot of damage onto Gorak. Not enough damage to kill him off, as Spiritbreaker actually dropping pretty low. I think it's about time for these two heroes to leave this area, because it seems like a little bit too dangerous. Goddamn, still chasing Goblak, and I don't think Earthshaker could do anything about that. So after all that, we are going to see everyone get home safely.
But in the meantime, Illidan is having a free lane, as the Batrider is going to be, I don't know, distracted by the two supports. So at the very least, they're securing farm for their Anti-Mage. So in that sense, it's still a win for Virtus.pro, despite using a lot of mana on their Spiritbreaker. I don't know, Spiritbreaker's turn rate's already pretty awful, and when you have that sticky napalm on yourself, Goldblack can hardly do anything. Going to go back to polling, and it looks like he is just going to wait till he gets some more levels. Currently, the dual lane is coming out from Kompas Gaming. His Goddam's falling very low to the Anti-Mage. The Blink Away will keep AM safe. Nobody is going to die. Lil is completely tapped out of mana, only 2 stick charges, not even enough to throw 1 Arcane Bolt. Illidan's taking a lot of sticky napalm charges, but although he should be fine, might take a little bit more harass than he wants to.
Anti-Mage, unfortunately, just as a hero, isn't a hero that could benefit that much from Magic Stick. He'll be able to spam out Blink, which is, I guess, nice, but he doesn't exactly have anything that he could throw back onto Gorak, who is going strong until Lil is going to fall back for now. But yeah, Illidan might not even want to go for Magic Stick. As good as it is versus the Batrider, Anti-Mage does not benefit from that extra mana, so getting that item just for health, it may or may not be worth it. I guess it's really debatable there, but it's still an item that will slow him down towards his debatably more crucial item, the Battle Fury, which I'm assuming he's going to go for this game.
Yeah, it looks that way. It's going to stop off for some intermediate items with the boots, Poor Man's Shield, as well as the Quelling Blade. Nothing too major, though. In mid, the matchup is currently favoring the Magnus, just getting the better end of the spam stick. His bottle is currently being crowed back to base, as he didn't get any runes the last time, the Illusion Rune being picked up by the Spiritbreaker, and then the Bounty Rune being snagged by the Brew. But it's still fairly even, 24-6 compared to 17-6. It's not a huge win for either side, both of them presumably saving up for their blinks.
Yeah, so mid lane is pretty much a wash, but if you take a look at each team's off lane, DK Phobos is actually doing very well up here. 17 for 7, level 5 on the Puck, which is a huge amount of experience to have on any hero at this stage in the game. And if you take a comparison between the Puck and the Batrider, level 2, 2 CS, 2 denies, Gorek getting hit really hard by the early aggression from the Spirit Breaker as well as the Skywrath Mage. Even though they didn't get a kill, even though they didn't, do anything permanent there, still the Batrider has been zoned out very heavily, whereas the Puck has not been worried about any of that. So at this point, Puck is still in a little bit danger of dying, but I would say it's more realistic to see the Puck turn around and get a kill on the Earthshaker. That seems more realistic at this point.
Yeah, I think that's fair, and Puck's well on his way towards a Blink Dagger. It's similar timing for the mids. If he keeps up this level of farm, I'm not sure he's going to be able to do so, but at the very least he's going to get level 6 very fast, and once he has that, DK Phobos is going to have pretty much free reign. This is going to be very soon the time that Puck's going to shine, once he gets all of his spells online. Spirit Breaker is still level 2 as well, hasn't done anything, unfortunately, with the exception of zoning out the Batrider. Gorak currently under his tower, going to be flame breaking down some creeps, as well as Elden Stormrage, taking a decent amount of damage from this Batrider, dropped to about half health, might be forced to blink away, is at least going to eat through the last of the Tangas that he has in this lane, but with the Ring of Health now on Elden Stormrage, it actually doesn't matter.
Charge over to the bottom lane, Firefly not available, and the damage is going to be pretty high, although I don't know if it's going to be enough. Gorak is fairly tanky as far as int heroes go, and Batrider is going to escape. Go Black still only level 2. You can't really expect to make that much happen. Anti-Mage inherently a low damage hero, especially when he's only gone for 1 point in mana break, and Batrider doesn't have that much mana to burn anyway, and Lil also level 2. Getting a kill on this Batrider, even though he is level 3, is tough because you're diving a tower with very low level heroes.
It does force out the TP from the Earthshaker, and they're going to go aggressively again to Gorak. He is completely tapped out of mana, so the Batrider can't stick around here that much. Goddamn has rotated quite a lot throughout this game and not getting any kills. Rubik is going to sit in the jungle, giving even more room to this Puck, which is going to get very close to his level 6, after this creep wave, in fact.
Yeah, the lack of rotations from both sides is kind of weird to see, especially when you have an Earthshaker Rubik as well as a Spirit Breaker on the field, but that being said, when you're farming up an Anti-Mage and farming up a Spectre, both sides are going to be relatively happy about that. Phobos up on top lane can take a lot of damage. He is going to prepare the orb out. Lift up from PSM, though. Phobos might be in a little trouble. Coil onto 2, but RT is still there with the damage. That's going to be first blood. Drawn by PSM. Here comes the Mag. Going to land an RP, 1 man onto RT's. Shockwave onto 2. The damage should be enough to kill off the Spectre. Dagger going to give her extra movement speed, and Mag is going to not get the Spectre killed, nor is he going to get PSM. Going to try to blindly fire into the tree line. Unfortunately, Spectre running off to the south and is going to TP home safe and sound, and the Rubik's going to walk home as well. It was very close from Scandal, but unfortunately, close doesn't actually mean anything in this game.
Yeah, Spectre is going to pause the game, probably because of lag issues that have been facing this for a little bit more. And it looks like we need a reboot. Yeah, they're lagging a lot. That's unfortunate. But yeah, first blood going the way of Kompas Gaming. It's going to make their top lane look a lot better than it has been doing. The Spectre is actually not farming as well as I thought she was. So this is going to put her at a much more comfortable spot than she was sitting at previously, but still 700 gold advantage to the Anti-Mage. This early game, mostly due to the efficiency of the farming, is still going the way of Virtus Pro.
Yeah, and the fact that they killed off the Puck ordinarily would be a pretty huge deal, but Puck is not going to go straight for that Blink Dagger. He's actually stopped and gone for Power Treads. I would have expected that with the amount of farm he's getting, he would have considered holding all his gold and trying to get that straight Blink Dagger, but stopping for Power Treads means that he is not going to lose that much gold in the end. So although getting a kill on a level 6 hero or a level 5 hero, or I guess he was level 6 because he dropped Dream Coil, is always going to be worth it. You get a lot of experience, especially for the Rubik, who hasn't really been doing that much. The fact that Puck didn't lose that much gold isn't going to hurt Polar as much as it ordinarily would, but forcing the rotation out from the Magnus, and also surprisingly no other rotations from any other of the VP heroes, is still going to be a win for Kompas Gaming despite all of those facts. Still, the Spirit Breaker is not really doing anything. He's going to get a little bit of experience over in mid lane since the Mag did in fact leave, but I don't know. What is he exactly farming for? An Urn of Shadows is a great item, but is it going to help Spirit Breaker do stuff? I don't think it is.
I think what's going to help the Spirit Breaker actually accomplish something in this game more than anything is levels. He needs this level 6, and right now he's not going to be able to find it. Honestly, it would have been a lot better for Virtus Pro Polar to have better lanes to kill with the Spirit Breaker. Right now, nobody's really susceptible. You have a level 6 in the Brewmaster, so even if you try to gank him, it's very unlikely that you're going to be able to kill him before he gets the split off, unless you have both Skywrath Mage, Puck, and Magnus in the lane, which is a little too much to ask for ganking one hero.
Yeah, and especially when it's such a delicate situation, you have to chain stun that one hero perfectly. And if you don't, he's just going to split and run away. And then all of your heroes that you rotated in are just sitting there looking really stupid. So killing this Brewmaster pretty much off the table. It was, as we said, very difficult to kill off the Batrider because you have to chase him as a melee hero through Firefly, and that's never what you really want to do. And then at that point, it's only top lane that's actually very vulnerable. Catching eyes on the Rubik Earthshaker most times will result in a kill, but Go Black hasn't actually touched the top lane. In fact, VP have pretty much been hands off on that top lane, so that's really where the only possible kills are. Getting a kill on the Spectre is viable, but difficult because of the dagger, and all the other two supports are mostly just camping up top lane with occasional rotations from the Earthshaker. But really, as you said, Go Black doesn't have many great targets to kill, and I think that's partially because they decided to pick him up so early. Kompas Gaming were more than prepared to deal with this Spirit Breaker.
Yeah, I think that's definitely fair. Yeah, I'm still not feeling it. I'd love to see it work, but it's just not doing that yet. Scandal's going to back off for the Arcane Boots before going for his Blink as well, so his Blink is going to be delayed. This is a pretty normal Magnus build, although I like seeing the Blink earlier on. It's just not going to happen. The Blink Dagger status for the Batrider is also going to be quite delayed because his lane situation hasn't been great. Let's see, the stacks that are inside his jungle, he has one at the medium camp with no mud golems, which is going to be beneficial. That's a triple stack, none in the other medium camp, and then a double stack over at the large camp. So Batrider's going to have a decent amount of farm acceleration to get towards his Blink. The Blink Daggers coming out from both teams are probably going to be at a pretty similar timing, with the exception being the Brewmaster. He's going to be the first one to get on the Blink train.
And of course, once you are on the Blink train, the train stops for nobody. The clap into a split is going to be pretty easy kills on to almost whoever he finds. It's hard to deal with the puck. Actually, maybe not. VP are actually pretty well suited to deal with disengaging from a Brewmaster. They have Skewer out, they have Blink out from Anti-Mage, they have Puck, who's pretty much never going to die. Spirit Breaker just naturally tanky. He might die to a Brewmaster initiation, but really the only easy kill is Skarath Mage. So both of these teams are, I think, going to be playing this more passively, not by choice, just because they can't get anything done. They have to bring out so many heroes, and they need like Blink Daggers and the Batrider. I think that's going to be a bigger item than Blink on the Brewmaster in this particular game, just because they will be able to lock down that one guy, prevent the skewer, prevent the phase shift, so that the damage can't actually go through.
Yeah. Spectre this game isn't having a very good start as far as farm is concerned. Currently only phase, Poor Man Shield, and a TP, and that's all that Spectre has to her name. So I'm not sure if this is going to be a Radiance Rush for Spectre, but at the current pace of the game, it doesn't seem like a bad idea, as long as you're able to keep up that farm. But currently the puck is actually head-and-head with the Spectre in terms of CS, and even with support, is able to handle this lane very effectively. So, well played to DK Phobos. I don't know. The Spectre needs to find a little bit more off of the map than she is currently, if they really want the Spectre to be effective. Anti-Mage is going to go for Power Treads, presumably, with that Gloves of Haste. Yeah, okay. There we go. I've seen a couple of Anti-Mages experiment with Maelstrom. It's kind of an interesting build to watch, but Battle Fury farms a lot faster, despite Mjolnir scaling better into the later game. I'd love to see a Maelstrom Anti-Mage, but honestly, I don't think we're going to.
He's actually gone for a pretty weird build, which is also weird to say 6 minutes into the game, but Boots, Gloves of Haste, as you said, would indicate Power Treads, but he also has that Ring of Health, which might be just a casual pickup. Ordinarily, the build is Brown Boots, maybe Poor Man's Shield, Quelling Blade, into straight Battle Fury, and then use the farm that you get from the Battle Fury to pick up your Power Treads, and that usually doesn't take that long at all, but he's gone for both of these items, and it might be something a little bit different. I don't know if it's going to be a Maelstrom. That would be very interesting to see, but certainly you don't get these items both at the same time. It might not matter in the end. He might just have so much free time as he has been that he's going to be getting his Battle Fury and then his Power Treads, and this small deviation into Gloves of Haste isn't going to matter in the end, but it is possible that Anti-Mage is going to be going for something a little bit weird.
Yeah. I personally like seeing Power Treads first on Anti-Mage because honestly his farming speed doesn't increase that much until you have both of those items. It really depends on how the lane is going. Right now, I'm not sure it matters, but in a really great lane you can rush the Battle Fury, in a mediocre lane Power Treads first for the extra laning presence might benefit you a little bit more. Yeah, we'll see. It is very peculiar to see this item progression on an Anti-Mage.
Well, I think this game, you could consider his lane to be really good. He's been getting a couple stacks in Napalm, but he's never in actual danger of dying. And versus the Batrider, his supports have been keeping him safe for the most part. And I don't know, Kompas Gaming, they still can go for kills in this Anti-Mage, but again, they're not working with that much stun, and the stun that they are working with isn't really backed up by that much damage just yet. So Anti-Mage could go for pretty much whatever build he wants. I think he has enough time to make his choice, and no matter what that choice is, he'll be pretty happy with it.
Yeah. I don't know. We're probably going to leave the Anti-Mage alone for quite some time. Maybe once they get a Blink Dagger on the Batrider, they'll attempt ganking him again. Or at all. Then again, for now, it's just going to be fairly passive. We have a TP up to the top lane. That's just going to be the Earthshaker coming back up with the Rubik. Spectre's currently back to base, and we'll make her way towards the top lane for that little bit of extra farm. Magnus is currently left alone, and it is just a passive game. The Spiritbreaker showed his face up in top, but can't do anything. Right now, Goldblack's main job has been to sit on the runes.
And a hero to sit on the runes, literally any other hero could do that. Spiritbreaker is unfortunately going to be playing the humiliating position of mobile ward, which is never what you want to be doing. He's been like roaming around a lot, but roaming doesn't actually do anything unless you're applying pressure somehow, and even the threat of Spiritbreaker at this point isn't really that large. So he needs, as we said before, more levels. He needs to be able to do something, because if he doesn't do anything, then he's just a dead hero and it's just a ward. That being said, they are looking to set up potentially on the mid lane. Killing this Brewmaster is very difficult, but if they can get him down at this stage, he's so very close to his Blink Dagger that will be a very nice kill for VP to take, but I don't know if they could actually initiate on this. They need Puck to randomly jump in, and that's not going to happen. They're going to, in fact, charge up towards top where they see Gorek. Firefly's not available, actually, for Gorek, but he does have a ton of support. Lift up onto Goldblack, suddenly no more charge. Shockweb's going to fly through. Goddamn, going to land a fish onto Goldblack, and here comes the Haunt. Both Scandal and Goldblack in a little bit of trouble. Goldblack a little bit more so. He doesn't have any way of getting out of here. He's going to buy up everything before he dies. But that is him just running into a whole bunch of Kompas Gaming heroes and then paying the price for it.
Meantime, Anti-Mage takes a tower down in bottom, so I suppose space created by Goldblack, but honestly, it doesn't do much. In the meantime, we also have the Blink Dagger picked up by the Brewmaster. KPG are finding the kills around the map, but still their Spectre's not farming that much. I don't know, it's still anybody's game, but all said and done very even, despite the kill score not suggesting that. It's a slight advantage in the gold, as well as experience toward VP Polar, but nothing significant.
And a lot of that advantage for VP is given due to the Anti-Mage, who's having a relatively easy time. It's a pretty nice stack steal, as VP clear out 3 stacks of creeps that Batrider is just prepping to clear out, and unfortunately for him, he's going to deal with only a double off to the right side in the hard camp, and only a single in the medium camp. Mud Golems, the bane of every jungler's existence. Maybe not Chen, but definitely the Batrider, so the Blink Dagger is once again going to slow down by a little bit. Now they're going to go for Goddamn. This is a valuable kill for VP because it's a kill, a participation for Goldblack, and they finally get something. A support being a little bit too out of position.
Yeah, level 4 in Goldblack. Now with the Urn of Shadows, might offer a little bit more to his team than just the intel around the map. Yeah, Anti-Mage still completely left alone. He does back off for the Power Treads first, and now into the Battle Fury he goes. It's going to be a very fast Battle Fury for Illidan. He's been pressured none at all, currently hitting at about 7 CS a minute, has hardly missed a creep, if any.
Yeah, and now Kompas Gaming, they have to rotate several heroes down there to deal with the Anti-Mage, as opposed to just throwing one down there and being happy with that. Because Anti-Mage, even though he only has 1 point mana break, he is still holding Power Treads. He has quite a bit of damage, 100 a pop with the mana break, extra damage, and potentially mana void for a finisher. So whoever goes down there is not going to be able to sit very comfortably, whereas VP, if they do see anyone down there, rotations from the Spirit Breaker, from the Puck, are all perfectly viable. There is going to be a smoke up from Kompas Gaming, though, and they're going to try to go for this Anti-Mage kill. This is going to be incredibly difficult, though. Brewmaster does have a Blink Dagger. They have to chain stun him perfectly, and if they don't have the chasing power in order to get this kill. With the Batrider, he does have a lasso, so this kill just got a lot more possible. They need perfect chain stun to open things up. Fissure is going to not be thrown. In fact, it's going to be the Brewmaster to open things up first. They're still going to go for Illidan, though. There's the Haunt. Artees wants in. Fissure on the wrong side, though. Teleportation in from Phobos. Going to land 3-Mind Silence. Will blink out of there successfully. Drop a coil, but he's going to get lassoed and brought down. Here comes Scarif Mage. Actually canceled his TP. Actually, it's going to be Goldblack, who's also going to cancel his initiation. So Kompas Gaming bring all 5 heroes down to the bottom lane. They don't get the target that they want, but getting a kill on the Puck is just as good.
Yeah. Magnus is going to get the Blink Dagger. I'd much rather kill the Anti-Mage, especially when he's saving up for his Battle Fury. He's going to furry himself a self, as well as his Claymore. Anti-Mage is still going to be farming at an incredible pace, but they are going to make his farming a little bit more difficult. The Scandal gets a double kill on the backlines off of a beautiful RP. He's not going to be able to get the kill on the, excuse me, Batrider, but the Anti-Mage with the Mana Void is going to be able to do so. His PSM's also going to drop down to the Spirit Breaker's Urn. There is going to be a full retreat coming out from the Brewmaster's split. He's going to throw the anti-mage up in the air and just run back under his tower, but it might not be enough. He hits the skewer, and now another urn charge. They're looking for anything to lock him down. There's the charge. Still bringing the anti-mage. He's silenced up, looking for the damage. A nice defensive fissure lands onto 2. The skewer from long range. Killing spree for Scandal. And now the Earthshaker in a very awkward situation. Dominating spree, and another double kill for Scandal. For all intents and purposes, that was an ultra.
Oh man, that experience gain is going to be so huge for VP. Finally, the Spirit Breaker does something. Again, it's nothing too unique. It's just mostly just chasing forward, but still, he now has his level 6, and that opens up the door for so much more for the Spirit Breaker. He's going to start the charge onto Ardes. Phobos, though, not really playing this one cool, is going to go aggressive onto the Spectre. Here comes Scandal, blinking forward. Coil's going to land into Artes, and it looks like this Spirit Breaker is going to instead decide to charge for Gorak. Here he comes, slamming into him. Ultimate available for Goldblack is going to land as well. That's the power of Spirit Breaker right there. But here comes Affinage, gonna get the kill on Scarith Mage immediately, slowing down Phobos as well as Scandal, as now Goldblack is trying to outduel the Panda. Not sure that's gonna happen, as he's gonna land a short charge. Affinage slowed down by all these mini stuns. Clap going to miss, and now Affinage is in a little bit precarious situation. He's gonna dodge the orb, but I don't think he's gonna dodge all this damage. In fact, Scandal's gonna blink forward for the Shockwave. Goddamn, now in an awkward position. Shockwave's gonna fly through, kill off the Spirit Breaker along with that fissure, and now Scandal's all alone. Enchant Totem is going to be not enough, as he does go down to the Haunt. It's coming in from the Spectre. It is the trade for the Earthshaker, though, as Lil taking quite a bit of damage. RT is right on his trail. Mystic Flare is gonna be dropped, unfortunately a little bit too wide, and Illidan is going to be the only one to limp away from this fight. After all said and done, I believe that was a 3 for 2. That was, I mean, the fight recaps have been kind of janky, but says Batrider died, Spectre died as well. So, you know, that's going to be a pretty nice fight for Kompas Gaming. They turned it around where ordinarily it looked like it was just going to be easy cleanup from VP.
Yeah. All of a sudden, it's a completely different game. A very hectic last couple of minutes that we just witnessed. Once those Blink Daggers came online for your key heroes, most importantly the Magnus, who wreaked havoc. He lost his streak at the end of that, which is going to be a lot of where Kompas Gaming's gold and experience comes from. Goldblack finally has actually become a relevant hero. He's been charging around, doing a decent job. We do have that anti-mage picking up the Battle of Fury to good click, and now he's going to be well on his way towards the Yasha. This is an anti-mage who has farm that's pretty much uncontested. He stopped farming for a little bit, but during that time he was farming heroes. 2-0 and 3 on anti-mage. It's almost the ideal situation, if not the ideal situation for an AM.
Yeah, VP, they're buying just so much space by being so distracting all across the map that Kompas Gaming, again, they can't really send one hero to do with the anti-mage. They have to send several, and if they do send several, then VP are going to collapse on the rest of the heroes. So, especially with Spirit Breaker, now packing Treads, level 3 charge, and the ultimate, he's going to open up yet another fight, but this is diving into a swarm of Kompas Gaming heroes. He's going to think better of it, slamming into a creep, but he's going to be fine to back off. The rest of Kompas Gaming are actually on the top lane, and I don't think VP know about this. Puck might be able to survive, although if he does go down, Shockwave and the Fissure is going to slow him down, and he's going to get annihilated by an Echo Slam. That Puck was very close to his Blink Dagger. It was at 21 something, and now it's going to be the mid lane where Lil's going to be initiated upon by the Brewmaster. Lots of damage from these Brewlings. Scarith Mage, only 1 armor, not really helpful. Here comes the Space Cow, but I think it might be a little bit too late. The Brewmaster holding on to his Purge, though. That's going to mean that Lil's going to get a little bit more time to escape. However, Artees is thinking about haunting in. Blink forward from Affinage, going to dodge Shockwave and kill off the Scarith Mage. Fissure from back end as Goddamn's going to provide cover for Affinage to TP out. Him and Artees are both going to make it out alive, in fact. Going to be a lot of chasing and a lot of effort just for a Scarith Mage kill, but it is a free kill in the end.
Yeah, it is going to be Brewmaster escaping by the skin of his teeth. The blink immediately after he comes out of that, barely escaping the shockwave that would have killed him off is up in top. PSM is going to need an Illusory Orb. Steals it in return, and DK Phobos can't do much more than this. Potentially looking for the tower deny, drops the Dream Coil potentially to look for it, but it won't be able to find it as Spectre gets the tower destroyed. PSM going forward to the Illusory Orb, lifts up DK Phobos, TP's away immediately, but the Scarith Mage ultimate is going to deny that, as he's brought down after some cheeky plays.
Well, it is Kompas Gaming, at the very least, taking a tower, trading a Rubik for it. Obviously not the ideal situation, but still not too terrible either. So it's Kompas Gaming getting a little bit more map control, and that is the first tower that they've taken down in this game. Actually, only 2 towers taken down in total. They're going to try to go for Affinage over on mid lane. Charge and Skewer being used, but actually Illidan, he found a Batrider, and Kompas Gaming made the crucial mistake of sending only 1 hero to deal with him. Affinage now stuck in the river. He's taking a lot of magical damage from this amplification of the seal. However, there's no lockdown from Goldblack. There's the charge. He has his ultimate cooling down soon enough. Affinage doesn't have a split. The damage is not quite there. There it is. Goldblack going to get a lucky greater bash and secure the kill there. Now diving for Goddamn. The backup isn't quite there. Shockwave through. Go Black chain stunned in the tower, but I think he has enough damage. Yes, it's going to be a double kill for Go Black, and the tower is not going to kill him off. Haunt from Spectre, not up for another 20 seconds, so Go Black is going to limp home. So a whole bunch of kills going for VP over in the mid lane. Even Illidan getting a solo kill on the Bat Rider, showing the amount of power that Anti-Mage has versus only one hero. Things are looking so great for VP after a very slow start.
They really are. Yasha now on Illidan, he's almost at a Manta style or getting dangerously close to it. He has enough for the recipe and well on his way towards an Ultimate Orb. I don't know. This Anti-Mage is going to be incredibly scary, almost doubling up the net worth of the Spectre, and this is not where you want your Spectre to be. At this point, Artis would love to have something, at least the Relic at this point, but he just isn't farming very well, and he's died twice, despite being involved in the same amount of kills that the Anti-Mage has. Just a lot more efficiency coming out from Illidan, and I suppose, picking up the Anti-Mage as early as they did, they're making it pay off.
Anti-Mage is just a lot more of a self-sufficient hero than Spectre. We've seen this a lot of times in this game where Spectre is farming a lane, but at the same time, Rubik and Earthshaker are just hanging around, making sure the Spectre doesn't die. VP don't have to do that. Their Anti-Mage, if he gets into a little bit of trouble, most likely he's going to be able to blink his way out of it. Spectre doesn't have that luxury. Now Haunt in. DK Phobos going to get lassoed into the mid lane tower. That's going to be one kill going the way of Kompas. Are they going to go for anything else? It looks like they won't. The tower is held, not in deny range either. But Gorek, he's going to just try to crack back onto this tier 1 tower. Kompas Gaming, they don't have that much pushing. They have to deal with Anti-Mage still up on top lane. He's the real problem hero for Kompas Gaming to deal with, and they're sending no one up there at all. It looks like they're just going to try to dive the tower. RP only onto Gorek, though. Fissure's going to stop him and Go Black as Ninja going to try to split, but he instantly silenced by the Scarth Mage, who's going to pay for it with his life. Now PSM going to try to focus onto the Spirit Breaker. Has an ultimate available, but the damage is going to be very large, especially with an Echo Slam committed. That's going to be a kill for Artis, who got that kill somehow, but it is a whole bunch of kills now going the way of Kompas Gaming. They get good initiation. A 3-man clap is pretty much all you could ask for, and Ninja didn't use a split either, so if VP do want to fight this next upcoming fight, it's not going to be the greatest for them.
Yeah, it definitely is not. The Anti-Mage did also come down here, currently invised up, might be able to pick off somebody on the backlines. PSM almost completely out of mana. He's going to hit him a couple of times, then Mana Void to seal the deal. Blink Away will keep the Anti-Mage safe for now, is fairly low on mana, doesn't have that many blinks. The Blink Away from Gorek is going to keep him safe on top of it. But Virtus Pro are going to defend their tier 1 tower because of that single pickoff. And looking for more.
Yeah, they're going to go ahead and split out. Here comes Spirit Breaker, only going to stun up a couple of the Brewlings, not really doing much of anything. Phobos taking quite a bit of damage. Fissure from Goddamn is going to clip Phobos right on the edge, and the Rock is going to kill him off. The Brewmaster now can't really get anything else done except for just be a general nuisance. And it is going to be, once again, the Puck dying. He has his Blink Dagger, though, so really Puck doesn't have to build into anything else. You would like to see a Sheep Stick eventually, you know, items of that caliber, but as long as he has his Blink, Puck is going to be doing his job, or he should be doing his job.
Spectre does have that Relic online, and Artis, after a nice fight for Kompas Gaming, is going to be working towards his Radiant. Still a lot of action going around in the tier 1 towers in mid, but nothing's actually come of it. Illidan's still farming incredibly fast and has a completed Manta at sub 20 minutes in, on top of a Battle Fury Treads. In Anti-Mage Heaven right now, going to be pushing into the tier 2 tower, probably going to pop the Manta Style and just put some chip damage. If nobody comes up here and still shows their face down in mid, he might be able to take this. I think he's going to blink away when it's about half health, or at least when the Earthshaker shows his face. But yeah, there's the Manta going to drain. Got him completely dry. If he has a Mana Void, he's going to kill him, and there you go, the Mana Void mega kill streak for Illidan.
I don't really know what the Earthshaker's plan was there, but it wasn't a good one. Again, sending single heroes into the Anti-Mage, not a good idea, especially when those heroes are so reliant on their very shallow mana pools, and Anti-Mage is level frickin' 17. They're now going to send everyone, and this is the correct move. Illidan not being able to blink out. He's going to get hit with the lasso. The damage going to be pretty high. The chain stun, let's see how good it is. Flame Break is there, and Go Black going to come in with Scandal, landing an RP onto everyone. The coil is going to land onto everyone as well. PSM's going to get stunned as he does blink out, but the rest of the heroes left behind. RT's dropping very low. He's going to go down. Scandal taking a lot of damage, though. He's going to throw a shockwave. PSM's going to dodge it, and he's going to still not get the kill, actually. Scandal's going to survive. That's going to be a 4-man kill streak for VP up on top lane. Phobos and Scandal getting pretty much as much value as you could possibly get out of all your ultimates. Suddenly, Goddamn's the only hero alive, and he can't defend this tower if VP really want to go for that one. But yeah, some pretty nice plays actually coming out from all these blinking heroes, dodging several shockwaves, but in the end, it's not really going to matter.
Yeah, it's not. They commit everything for the Anti-Mage and clump around in order to get that kill. They chain stun him perfectly, and were able to kill off the Anti-Mage, and that's the icing on the cake for, or I'm not even sure. silver lining on a very dark cloud for Kompas Gaming is a better way to put it. They lose 4 of their heroes in order to do so, as they get 4-man RP'd, follow up with the Dream Coil. A really awesome combo coming out from Virtus Pro Polar. You usually don't see things like that happening after a solo pickoff, but then again, they just stick around, and the rotation from Virtus Pro Polar was on point.
Wow, and I did not realize this, but with the empowering haste change, giving it an active component, you could actually steal it on Rubik, and that's not a good skill to steal. It doesn't actually do that much.
It's not terrible. It does give you that extra movement speed.
Compare that to charge or anything else. I would rather
Yeah.
take, I'm pretty sure, any other skill that VP has than to take that level 1 empowering haste. It's actually like a nice tool for Go Black, because ordinarily it would be, you don't really want to give him charge because that's another stun that you're giving the Rubik, or Nether Strike, but giving him something that doesn't actually contribute crowd control is actually pretty useful for Spirit Breaker.
Yeah, I think that's pretty fair. It's not something that I was considering when I saw the change, but yeah, apparently that is new meta. He can stop Rubik from stealing any of his spells. Currently, the charge comes out from the Spirit Breaker onto poor Goddamn. He might just get sold if he gets a bash, but he's not going to go ahead and try for that. Blink Dagger purchased by the Earthshaker. He does have the puck inbound, but now they go on to Artis. In the meantime, they lose the Rubik to the Magnus. They Dream Coil up, silence up Artis, trying to focus him down, but the split as well as the lasso is going to be expended. But there's the RP on everybody. The Mana Void in the backline kills the Spectre. The Scarlet Mage ultimate not doing enough damage to Gurk to kill him off. They need a little bit more on top of it, and there's a little more coming out from Illidan Storm Rage. Blinking onto the backline since the puck is still trying to clean up some other heroes. He's going to be able to escape as the Brewmaster Brewlings are being eaten away by the Anti-Mage. Afro Ninja is going to survive, but not for long. It's on the backlines again. It's going to be the Magnus cleaning up another kill as Afro Ninja is being brought down by these 3. It's going to be a full 5-man wipe. All said and done is Scandal is playing out of his mind.
Oh man, Scandal is playing out of his mind, but also a lot of credit to Phobos, barely managing to slip away from that fight after dropping his entire payload several times, and everyone else from VP pretty much just doing their job, crashing into Kompas Gaming, even with a split on the Brewmaster. Not enough damage at this point. A Relic only on Spectre. I don't know when you said she actually got this one, but I'm pretty sure it was quite a long time ago, and she's made no progress at all towards completing this Relic into something that could actually help. Kompas Gaming, they don't have any damage. You should be able to kill off a puck when you catch him off like that in such an awkward position, but now that puck has survived, he's going to pick himself up a Yule Scepter. With the Blink Dagger with level 3 phase, it's going to be very, very hard to kill off this puck in the future, and Go Black just naturally tanky. He's going to go for the BKB as well. Kompas Gaming, they need so much more time to get damage, and that's time that VP are probably not willing to give them, since their Anti-Mage is pretty much at Anti-Mage levels of farm right now. He's only 24 minutes into the game, but he has a ton of net worth. Basher, Battle Fury, Manta Style, Power Treads. Next item, I'm sure it's going to be a survivability item, but he's just going to be able to 3-shot people pretty reliably.
Yeah, especially when you're looking at the cleave damage. That's going to be 85% cleave with the 50% bonus damage. That's ridiculous. If you're able to catch them in RP, like they have been consistently throughout the fights, it's pretty strong, as the Scarlet Mage is going to be caught out between 2 enemy heroes, as he's presumably looking for a D-ward there, but it's going to cost him his life. BKB is up online completely for Scandal. Our next item for Spirit Breaker is probably going to be the same BKB. Golblock is level 11 now, and this Spirit Breaker, despite kind of being over his peak, still has a decent amount of disable to offer inside those team fights. And if they're able to catch so many people in the RPs and the Dream Coils, they'll be able to snag quite a few stuns with the charge going through them.
So yeah, it'll be Spirit Breaker contributing something to his team. Again, not entirely sure if it's worth the pick just yet, especially when he's awkwardly stuck on a cliff like this, but hopefully he'll get his way out of that situation soon enough. Illidan is now going to start to do full-on anti-mage things. He knows that he is one of, if not the most powerful hero on the map. He's just going to farm the enemy jungle. And last time it was Illidan taking a lot of damage, but let's see if Kompas Gaming can actually bring down this anti-mage once again. The Manta Style is out, and anti-mage doesn't actually have any additional survivability since last time. He's going to try to bait them in with an illusion, but this is pretty clear. PSM is going to waste the telekinesis, but if a lasso is used, that's pretty bad, but I don't think they're going to fall for that one.
Nope, they'll just claim this Manta illusion, but it does quite a number on the PSM, draining quite a bit of his mana. Now he sends the other one at them. Doesn't actually get any auto attacks off. Yeah, Illidan at this point is working with 56% magic resistance with 3 points up into the passive. Their damage on KPG is mostly magical. Even the Spectre is operating very heavily on the magic damage coming out from the Radiance. Despite getting the dispersion if they're able to find those illusions, but Illidan's still incredibly scary. And once you get something along the likes of BKB, maybe even just a straight hard for Illidan, he's going to be incredibly difficult to deal with.
And of course, the dispersion damage, or the desolate damage rather, only works if the anti-mage is all alone, and that's rarely going to be the case because he does have mag as well as Spirit Breaker to back him up, plus illusions of himself. So getting that extra damage, which is pure by the way, so it's pretty much the best tool you could ask for dealing with an anti-mage, that's not even going to be doing that much. And after that, Compass Gaming, they still are just in the problem of not having enough damage. Whereas Polar, they have damage, so much damage, they don't even know what to do with it. They're farming everywhere at the same time. They're kind of being a little bit complacent. They have yet to crack a tier 2 tower, but soon Anti-Mage is going to get completely 6-slotted, and I think it's about time for him to buy a Reaver right now, sell out that, okay, never mind, he's going to keep on farming. But yeah, once Anti-Mage gets a health item, then Compass Gaming, they actually just have no response to this. Now they're going to go for RTs. The cleave damage, 2 shots bring him down to half HP, and a bash. Holy crap. Anti-Mage got help on that one, but he didn't even need it. Now off to the side, they're going to see PSM. Gorax already in the Firefly, I think spotted. Yes, Lil did spot that fact, and they're going to try to chase this Batrider down. They're not going to catch anyone. Lil actually dropped, going very aggressively without much of his team. Pretty much a bluff, but the rest of VP could have jumped in and helped if things really got bad. But regardless, it is going to be Anti-Mage still, just pretty much 4-shotting a Spectre. Now going to clean up this tower up on the top lane. PSM can get initiated upon with a 2-man coil as well. Charge forward from the Space Cow as PSM dropping very low. Where is the Cow? He's going to come right in. Unfortunately hit onto a Yule Scepter, but Goddamn's going to get bashed regardless now. Silenced up and hits with the Shockwave. Go Black needs his ultimate. Ultimate not going to happen. This Arcane Bolt is not going to kill off Goddamn either. Go Black getting dragged way deep into the enemy base, but he's going to pop the BKB and then charge out safe and sound. They dive so deep, they don't actually get anything, unfortunately, for VP, but they get the tower in the end, and they don't lose anyone either.
And now they have a cool 5,000 gold or thereabouts on Illidan, so, I don't know, they could get whatever item they want on this anti-mage, and yeah, it's just looking so bad for Kompas Gaming. The Spectre, a hero that scales incredibly well, honestly doesn't do that great against the anti-mage on even footing, and right now they're anything but.
So what Kompas Gaming needs to do right now is to just try to get some more picks with the Batrider. They've gotten a couple, but definitely not enough to make him worth it. 156 is not the score that you want to have on your Batrider at any stage in the game. So they need to get picks and then use those picks in order to buy space for the Spectre to get something. And then hopefully they'll be able to stand a chance in the late game, but with the amount of farm that Illidan's getting right now, I don't know if VP are going to give Kompas Gaming that chance. They are doing exactly what they need to do right now. Batrider up into the air with a gem, trying to get as much map control and trying to potentially go for a pick off if he runs into a hero. It might be Illidan, in fact, just spent a good portion of his gold buying a pure damage item in the Abyssal Blade. It's going to be, you know, enough to 2-shot PSM or something like that, but still, if he gets locked down, Illidan does run the chance of dying. So VP probably playing this a little bit more risky than they really have to.
Yeah, I think Heart is definitely the safer item, but then again, if they catch people in the cleave, it's going to be ridiculous, as they find the lasso onto Lil. Lil is going to die. He's caught up between 4 heroes, but then again, it's a lasso that Anti-Mage doesn't have to worry about for another minute, and that's a minute of free space for Anti-Mage to farm. And so Illidan is going to be fairly comfortable with that, despite losing one of his supports.
Getting a pick off, as good as it is for Kompas Gaming, it's not good enough when you're killing off an enemy Skywrath Mage. And now Illidan split pushing the top lane. Who's going to be brave enough to deal with this? Only the Earthshaker. This is someone who's almost going to completely die to the illusions, although they were cleared up decently already. Though, goddamn, she's going to jump, going to get Mana Void. Was stolen by PSM. A decent skill to steal, but that was just like 3 illusion hits and a Mana Void to kill him off. You cannot send that few heroes up against an anti-mage, especially when they're soft supports like that.
Yeah. Nobody's really safe. He's going to use the Abyssal and mid onto Ninja. He doesn't die instantly and has a split. He's probably going to be forced to use it before he loses too much mana, and there you go. He's going through the boulder the way of Goldblack. Is on the sidelines. Illidan is going to back off. They are going to drop the hump for this, but with BKB on Goldblack, he actually doesn't care. Up in the air with the Magnus. They're going to not clump around with him, as the ultimate from Goldblack is going to send an Artist. Where's the Anti-Mage? He's going to join this fight again as Puck jumps in. There's your RP. Going to land on some Brewlings as well as the Spectre. They bring down the Spectre as the lasso's on Illidan. Illidan's not taking enough damage, though he does have 3 stacks. They do steal the Blink away from Illidan, are able to lift him up, but in the meantime, they get the kill onto the Brewmaster. Now Illidan's going to blink after them, gets a bash onto the Batrider, and brings him down very quickly on top of it. Now the creep wave's dead. They only lose Goldblack after Kompas Gaming thought that they'd found a pickoff.
And again, losing a support for VP, a perfectly reasonable trade, especially when you get the enemy Spectre down. That in itself would have been a worthwhile trade, but getting a whole bunch of kills to boot is going to just be such unhappy times for Kompas Gaming. They're going to catch PSM, who does have Anti-Mage's Blink, so he's going to be 100% safe, unless he doesn't have it available, because here comes the Anti-Mage. He knows you stole his blink, and he wants revenge. A Pistol Blade, 1, 2, 3 shotting. Goddamn's gonna land the Echo Slam onto Illidan, but here comes the mag to support. 1 shot, 2 shot, and Goddamn. It will be the Skywrath Mage to take that kill, but that's going to hit Kompas Gaming so hard that they're going to be prompted to end the game.
Anti-Mage, at the end of that, was considering getting a second Battle Fury, and honestly, it didn't matter. They could not deal with that Anti-Mage, let alone the other heroes in the Puck and the Magnus. Although this is a best of 3, that is going to be a fairly convincing game 1, going away at Virtus Pro Polar, so stick around. We're here on the HeflaTV ESFX channel. I'm Grandis V, joined by Mike Loris. Stick around and see you soon for more Dota.